Live and alert on the north side of the dirt. It is your man D-Real coming at you again with another Be Real with D-Real, where edutainment is what I do. If you digging what a brother's shoveling, put some dirt in my bucket. Comment, like, subscribe, and share the Be Real with D-Real page so when new material comes out, you get first crack at it. Comment, like, subscribe, and share. Comment, like, subscribe, and share. 'Tis how we grow. All right, y'all. I'm having kind of a contemplative moment, if you will. I was thinking the other day, simple questions have become complex in the world of comics and movie that are based on comics. Case in point, who are the original Avengers? Now, if I would have asked you this question back in 2005, would have been no problem. These guys right here are the original Avengers. Not so much anymore these days. Now, these are the original Avengers. Why am I saying now? Because we have become visual. We have become visual people. We have become electronically connected people, where that question isn't simple anymore. Well, it depends on who you ask. And it beggars a bigger question. When everybody can be correct and nobody is wrong about the answers that they give, what kind of precedent does that set long term? When we say, is Tony Stark alive? If we say, is T'Challa alive? That answer is no longer a straight yes or no. If you don't know the history of that character, if you don't know the history of that comic book, it's almost as if reality is becoming more complex and convoluted. It's almost as if what happens in real time is like incursions. We got these movies coming out, and the movies are actually acting as the incursion for the comic book world. And what I mean by that, real quick reference, want to take you back and tell you about Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, or if you prefer, the Avengers run, where they encounter the Beyonders. And they are basically told about incursions. Incursions happen when Earths from another universe accidentally come into contact with one another. And when they do, either one or both of those worlds ends up getting destroyed. So what the Illuminati started doing in the comics was creating bombs that would detonate these other worlds so that their world would not be destroyed. So now when you ask about certain characters, is this character alive? Is this character dead? Instead of a straight yes or a straight no, you have to get this extraneous, convoluted answer. Well, it depends on what universe you're talking about. And that creates a larger problem. Nobody's wrong. And ironically, nobody's right. How is that possible? In a world where we compromise, in a world where we say at the Little League Championship, everybody's a winner, even though that other team got their ass kicked 17-0. And then you give them a trophy and celebrate that mediocrity. That's the precedent we've created. Those are the people who are creating comic books and movies now. Them people who grew up thinking everybody's a winner. Those people who grew up thinking, well, why can't we all be right? Because there should be a definitive answer to most questions. For instance, what's my name? It's only one answer to that question, unless I go specific and say, what's my government name? Which I show you every time I do a video. So there wouldn't be more than one answer to that question. However, is T'Challa alive or is he dead? Depending on who you ask, you might get a different answer than what you were expecting. What's the point of all of this? Why in the hell are you talking about this, D? What are you getting at? Pretty soon, there isn't going to be a necessity for griots. There isn't going to be a necessity for experts. There isn't going to be a necessity for historians. Why? Because we are literally changing the history of events, of characters, of teams, of stories daily in the comics and in movies. How many times have characters been retconned in comics? I understand the necessity for retcons in comics because of characters getting too old or because a concept is outdated. There is a need for a retcon when it comes to that. But you just retconning stuff because, hey, guess what? I can retcon it. That's not the reason to be retconning and changing and altering things. And call me old-fashioned, but I just feel like what is should be what it is. And what people choose to create, let that be what it is. And what I mean by that is this. If we're going to have all of these worlds, these different universes, these different versions, the new version of something should not supersede the original. Regardless of how many answers or explanations we have to give, base information, canon information should not be wiped out because of the willy-nilly desires of a director of movies, because of the willy-nilly desires of an editor who decided to come in and start writing comic books and said, I'm just going to revamp everything and not listen to what the fans want, or not listen, or not having an understanding of what makes a character appealing to a certain demographic. That's basically what I'm talking about with all these changes, phases, and rearranges that the MCU and the DCEU are doing to establish characters, genres, storylines, and teams. What has gone by in the past should not fade away if it's still viable. Case in point, might as well, since I'm here, T'Challa's still a viable character. T'Challa is still a character that deserves to be depicted cinematically. I've already said that in dozens and dozens of videos, excuse me. So if you believe this, if you think the same way I think and feel like what has gone before should not fall by the wayside because of the whims of few people with influence and power, drop it in the comments. And as always, I, D-Real, will be coming at you with another one of them other ones. And until I do, y'all be good to each other.